Okie dokie. So, after all of the monotonous, tedious things of the day, chores and the like, the rest of the day was spent in Unity under the mission of expanding the library of fallback avatars. Why that's super important is because right now, if I just upload an avatar as it comes, oftentimes as it comes in its Unity package, a lot of the times it's geared toward the PC sphere of VR chat, and the limits there are practically endless unless it crashes VR chat itself. Now, the Quest side, the Quest sphere of VR chat, if you will, that has a lot more detail that has to be, or it has to, there's a lot more limitations to it. So, for example, a character can only have so many polygons. A character can really only have one mesh texture slot. And as far as like dynamic bones go, so this cable back here on this character, so little things like that, you can only really have so many of those before the character itself becomes too heavy and it can't really be seen by the quest. Like, the quest just won't load those characters. So what a fallback character is it's a PC character that has a limited, like a version of it that's limited in a bunch of different slots. Then that way, the PC, so anyone with a PC headset or a headset that's, plugged into a computer tower, they can see the high quality, massive character that you have. And then in the same world and at the same time, the Quest people get to see the limited version of that character. There are other systems like the what was it called? The imposter system, where it takes your high dense data character and it puts out kind of this pixelated, almost as if someone made it in Minecraft sort of thing, version of that character. And it works, but a lot of detail is lost. Detail that can be preserved if you actually take the time to do the fallback character system. So the main focus of this transition from a dense data character to a more appropriately sized dense character is our little friend Sanyo over here. And I got curious because I was looking at this character in Blender. And I was wondering just how many polygons is it? Because I've taken the arm off of this guy so many times, and every time that I go into edit mode, down here, oh, I'm in the way again. So down over here, you can see that it has, that it has, less than 2,000 of anything. So it has 1,122 vertices, 927 faces, 1,832 tries. So even when the documentation on VRChat's website itself says that it needs to be this and this, there's other programs that kind of suggest the sweet spot for as far as like tries go. So in this program called Cats, you can do a bunch of different versions of what the decimation is going to be. But so if you wanted to go for a good rating, then that's 70,000. If you wanted to go for excellent, then it's a little less than that. But if you wanted to go for Quest, that reduces it all the way down to 5,000. Which even then, the Sanyo model more than fits into that category. So that gave me a lot more hope that we can make a fallback avatar out of this character. But when going into Unity and then just dropping the Sanyo character into Unity, when you go over to the builder and you're in the Android format, which is what Meta's headsets generally tend to fall into, it does say that there are performance issues, and we get a medium performance issue. This avatar may not perform well. Skin mesh renders, there are 2. But we don't have, but it's not yelling at us about how many triangles exist on this character, so we're good there. So all we have to do is smash together our materials and make the colors all fit on one canvas instead of 2 canvases. And so we do that in the program that I mentioned before, which is Cats. So we boot up Blender, we throw it into Cats, and we smash, we smush, we export that. That gives us this. So now we're in Android, and as you can see, performance is now good. Our triangles are less because I took the arm off. And everything else is green. We're good to go. So then I just had to upload it once for the Quest version, and then I had to upload it a second time just to make sure that it understands that I want this as a fallback avatar. And that's it. You're done. So even with all of that, and trust me, that was a process that took much longer than it sounded like it did. But even with all of that, I do get one small issue that I'm going to have to smooth out later. Specifically with this, with turning this into a fallback avatar, where normally I could go in here and I can say colors, and right now the default is yellow, but if I go blue, if I go green, if I go red, then it changes accordingly. The emotions do these sort of things. So it's gesture based. So depending on if I have my hand open, then it gives me static. If I do a pointing thing, then it's like, eh? So now the problem, or at least the little hiccup, the road bump that I'm going to have to figure out a little later. So before, when I went into colors and I asked it to go to blue, it would go to blue. Here, when I go from the default of yellow and I go to blue, something's a little weird. Go back to yellow. But if I go to green, all right, not that bad, right? But red is all sorts of fun. That's a party right there. And I'm kind of sad because red's like my favorite combination of colors that comes default with this character. But the yellow isn't all that bad. But yeah, so that's just sort of a byproduct of having to shove what used to be 2 color canvases into 1 canvas. And I actually don't think that's going to be that big of a problem to sort of figure out, but it is a problem that I'm going to have to figure out, and I don't have the knowledge at this moment to solve, if that makes sense. And this wasn't the only character that I did this with. I also did this with this guy. And the only reason why I actually sat down and went through the process of creating the fallbacks with these characters is they were already either right there and they just needed 1 or 2 little details changed, or they were just off of being a fallback. Like they had a Quest version, but they just weren't quite fallback material yet. And therefore, a day like today needs to happen where I just make those 1 or 2 little edits and upload everything so that I can enjoy my characters as I see them, and my friends with a Quest headset can enjoy my character the way that I almost see it, without a big deviation like you kind of get in the imposter system. But I must say, though, in doing all of this, every once in a while, I would kind of chastise myself and being like, the imposter system is right there. All you have to do is click a button and you're done. But I'm stubborn like that. Yeah, so now I think I'm all ready for a little hangout session that I have planned tomorrow, and we will see how that goes.